Anyway, good morning, beautiful people. We're gonna start off with the Jello shot. There's actually no alcohol in this. I'm just like obsessed. Hold on. Okay. ASMR channel. If you listen close enough, you can hear my dog too. You're just gonna catch me stacking on these Jellos in the middle of this, so bear with me. But good morning, beautiful people. It is a wonderful day. Today we have a lot to discuss, but also nothing crazy. Today is, by the way, the premiere of Spider-Man. This is a new Spider-Man movie. I will be attending it. I'm so excited, but I'm also nervous. So let's talk about that. Let's get started with that. Today's drink of the day, by the way, is sparkling water. Because again, I have the premiere, but it'll be good. But is it gonna be as good as this gel? Because I can't stop eating it. Okay. Hold on, one more. I can stop whenever. Okay, we're done. Guys, if you're watching the video part of this podcast, then don't clip that. But good morning, beautiful people. Today we have a lot to discuss regarding the Spider-Man movie, regarding mainly the Spider-Man movie. I mean, there's work and there's life, whatever. Let's start with the Spider-Man movie, okay? This is let me take out my earbud, how rude. This is my interpretation of the Spider-Man movie, okay? What I'm hoping it will be. We're gonna see. I'll let y'all know in a few hours. Here's what I'm hoping out of the Spider-Man movie, okay? I am hoping, girl, I can't stop. Let's just open up the drink and drink on that instead. Ready? More ASMR. Amazing. Do you hear it? Listen. I'm sure you do. Anyway. So, I'm hoping that this Spider-Man movie, MJ and Peter never get back together. Because from what I know about the Spider-Man lore, Spider-Man loses MJ in every life, right? So in every universe, he loses MJ, I guess. And so I am hoping this is how he loses her. Because I think that'd be so poetic, so modern, such a good twist on the situation. So Romeo and Juliet, except neither of them die, but they do in a way. You know what I mean? When that reset happens. Also, I have one more question. Why does Peter Parker remember who Peter Parker is? If everybody forgets who Peter Parker is, he didn't say everybody but me. He said make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. Like he still remembers. Why does he still remember? How does he have these memories? That's messing with the universe in of itself. So address that. Address me. Have you seen those like GIFs that people put in the comment section? Y'all say GIF or GIF? I'm gonna say GIF. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how this would be the best way to represent one-sided love of just a relationship that the way that I described it, I don't remember how I described it, but basically it'd be such a good way of explaining a relationship where no one person is still in love with the other person, but the other person one day just woke up and it was over. Whether that be a one-sided relationship, so in the sense of like you're one person and you or have been in love with this person, but this person never reciprocated it, and one day you wake up and realize that they're never gonna love you back, or whether it be in the sense of you guys had something, but one day one of them just woke up and was like, I don't love you anymore. It would be such a beautiful tale, so poetic in my opinion. And so yeah, I kind of hope that MJ doesn't get back with Peter. I'm scared because I don't know if Marvel is the type of studio to do something like that, but I can be hopeful. Marvel is kind of like a fairy tale happy ending thing, to be fair. I'm just excited for it, especially because I got like deluxe tickets, where like it'll have it comes with like a popcorn tin, and it has like a phone suction thing that comes with it, and a hat and a poster. The popcorn tin comes filled, by the way. I'm sure they don't. It doesn't come filled. It probably is like one free refill or something. Um, and medium drink, and so I'm super excited for that. Uh, but I'm also nervous that I'm gonna get there and they're gonna be like, "Sorry, we ran out," even though I paid for it. So we'll see about that. I'm trying to get there as early as possible. So if I cut this week's podcast short, I'm so sorry, guys. But like me soft launching. I don't know. I have a lot to do, and I love this podcast, but to be fair, not that much really happened this week. But I'll tell you what. I will have a debrief after that movie. You will be hearing from me then. But until then, this week I also made a copious amount of Jello cups. If you can't tell, if you're watching the video, you can tell. There's 0 sugar, so like free snacks, right? Because my cut's been going so well. I saw visible abs. Did I tell you all that yet? I feel like it's been so long since we talked, y'all. I'm gonna have to double check that I uploaded last week. I know I did, but I'm gonna have to double check it because it just feels like it's been 2 weeks. But yeah, I saw visible abs for the first time after a run. Me doing the anything but a coaster challenge. I'm using my camera lens cap to hold my Jello shots. Again, non-alcoholic, and a candle holder to hold my or a candle lid to hold my drink, like a coaster. Anything but a coaster challenge. But anyway, this is so good. Y'all like black cherry? I kind of don't get the hate. But anyway, I think it might be goated. I think it might be better than strawberry. But yeah, I guess we just have a chill episode this week. No drama, just chill. Because we're really just mukbanging right now. As I eat these Jellos, they're so good. By the way, okay, in case you cared, each of these is 2 calories. It's actually way easier to measure it that way. I was thinking about how hard it would be to measure Jello, but no, this is actually a really good way. Each of them is 2 calories, so that's pretty good, right? I kind of think that's a lot. I thought it'd be less, but it's okay because each serving is 5 calories, but 1 gram of protein. So that means that there's 20 grams of protein for every 100 calories. That's like better than Greek yogurt, if not comparable. Better than Walmart Greek yogurt. There might be another Greek yogurt, but better than Walmart. Why hasn't Fairlife made Greek yogurt yet? That seems like something they would absolutely make. I was at the store, and I saw that they had like protein milk is what they called it, like high protein milk. And then I did the math because it seemed impressive at first. It was 13 calories, but it was also 13 grams of protein, but it was also 160 calories. And I was like, girl. No, actually, I think it was 21 grams of protein, but 160 calories. All I remember is it's like 3 more. It's just not worth it. It's not comparable to Fairlife, is all that I remember. It's more calories, and you only get like 3 or 4 more grams of protein than like normal milk. But it's also like double the calories or something. So like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? You have no idea how good this is. But I've finished the Jello, so hopefully I'll actually be talking with y'all now. But oh my gosh, it's already been a while. No, it hasn't. Okay. So in alternative news, I made about 40 things of Jello, and then I also made Jello shots, like actual alcoholic ones. That was a whole story. Long story short, I accidentally bought full sugar Jello, and I started making it and didn't realize until mid mixing that it was full sugar. So I just turned it into Jello shots because Anything with alcohol has a lot of calories anyway, so you might as well, right? Um, and I have those. They're huge. They're 8 ounces, or maybe 5 ounces, but still, they're like 5 ounce cups. I was like, girl. Um, I thought about having one, but like I said, I have the premiere, and I don't want to be like stressing about that. Plus, I just have so much to do. And the biggest thing, the calories. We did the math, me and ChatGPT. Do I trust ChatGPT's math? Not really. I'm probably gonna have to do it myself. But it was confusing math, to be fair. I estimate there to be about 160 calories, but ChatGPT said like 143. I think that honestly sounds right, to be fair. But like 143 calories for a Jello shot. It's a big Jello shot. It's about two and a half of these. But like, no. And plus, I don't need the alcohol in my system either. And I just really wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd be mainly doing it just because of like habit and routine of drinking while we record. But today, I actually have the time cut out for it a little bit. Again, super busy day still. But like, I kind of have the time cut out for it. You know what I mean? So it's not as stressful as like other days. I forgot to put lotion on. Oh well. It's not as stressful as other days where I'm like, now I'm just thinking about lotion. Um, and I'm thinking about how like if somebody clipped this, they'd be like, "What is going on?" um, other days though, I've been insane. I mean, I've realized lately I have a really busy life. At first, I thought it was unsustainable, and I think initially maybe it was. I don't know, but now I've found a balance and stability. But I think there's still some work to be done. I don't know, maybe not, but I've gotten really good at it. Um, but it can definitely life can be overwhelming because one thing was when I first started this podcast. I think if you go back to the beginning of when I restarted the podcast, if you go back to the beginning of season 4, I literally talked about in the first episode. I think that the reason I took this back up was because I just found myself sitting at home with nothing to do. Once I moved out, I was like just watching TV and I was bored and I was tired of doing nothing. Even though I worked, it's like still like coming home after work and having nothing to do, and then on weekends having nothing. Weekends were actually like the hardest because Friday I'd have nothing to do and it'd be nice, and then Saturday I'd have nothing to do and I'd be like, I'd be getting bored. But then Sunday I'd be like, oh my, It's kind of like I was looking forward to work because I was just I needed something to do. Even though when I would get to work, I wouldn't be like, ugh, I miss this. Like, well, not per se, like not necessarily that, just because I just hate. I think having nothing to do is really. It's not good for my mental health. I guess maybe it's good for some people's, but like I need to have something spending my time because otherwise it's like you can just feel your life passing. Genuinely, it's horrifying. Um, and um, I think I even started doing it a lot because I think a lot of the only thing I could think of to do was drinking basically, and that's like a gateway to potential alcoholism. I was like, I don't want to risk that because then if all I have to do is drink, that just it's just not setting you up for success. We're just gonna leave it at that. And so now I have like too much to do. I clean the house every week. I do laundry like every week. Um, Dishes, I don't know. It's so regular because that's the thing is because of my like cut and working out. That's the other thing. I run every single day. Every single day. Okay. Um, I lift weights 3 days and then take a day off, and then 3 days and then take a day off. I think when I did the math, that's 4 or 5 days a week or something like that, depending on the week. Um, but yeah, I lift 3 days. No, that would have to be. Let's see. That would have to be 5 or 6 days a week, right? Yeah. Anyway, a lot. I lift weights a lot. Um, in addition to the running, in addition to the cooking homemade meals, like not necessarily every day because I'd be meal prepping a little bit, but they only last 2 to 3 days because they're real homemade food and stuff. So like on the third day, it's like this is definitely your last day and you're kind of pushing it. So like I'm still regularly cooking. I'm making like the other day I made Brussels sprout 2 pounds of Brussels sprouts and 4 yellow squash. I don't remember how much it was, probably 2 or 3 pounds of them. I don't know, but anyway. And I made last week. I made 3 T-bone steaks. I'll regularly make steaks, but I reverse sear them, so it's not just a cute little throw them on with some butter and stuff. It's like a process. It's like rub salt in, give it time to like squeeze out the moisture, and then bake it for a little bit, and then sear it, and then like when you're searing it, put like garlic butter on it. Although I opted out of the butter, so I started just using garlic, but still, um, it's just it's a lot. It's usually about I would say like 2 hour process for the steaks, which is crazy. But I'm cooking a lot. Like I get home and then I cook and then I do the dishes and then I go on my run and then I lift and then I sleep and then I come home and then there's just always something to do. There's a lot going on, and so a day like today, it's kind of nice that I actually kind of have the time because today I just came home, I got the podcast set up, and I'm gonna have actually a buffer because today's a recovery run, so it's actually a short one too. It's such a blessing. Yesterday was a long run. I ran 8 miles yesterday, which is insane, by the way. I was not feeling it because yesterday, let's give y'all the tea. Yesterday, a great example of my busy day, but it was a blessing. It wasn't like it was unplanned, but it was amazing. I loved it. But it fully represents how I stay busy like nonstop. Um, I was leaving work, but then I ended up deciding with my mother. I was all like, let's go to like happy hour because there was a place nearby that we mutually like, and I was all like, it would be so good. And I wanted to go with my mom because I don't know. I like going to like restaurants and like yapping with my mom and stuff. I don't know. And I didn't. I was kind of scared to ask, but I figured there was a good opportunity because it seemed like she was suggesting something that was similar to it or whatever. And then she was all like, "Okay, but hurry," because I had to like let my dog out first and stuff. Um, and I did it, and we made it, but then the restaurant was closed. We literally don't know why. They just said they were going to be closed for a certain date range, and it was the last day of that date range, so they were closed. And so then we ended up going instead to Yard House, and at Yard House, we got a cocktail and some food. They have edamame there. When I saw that, I was so relieved. I was so happy because it's in my diet. You have no idea how stressful it is. It's like overspending money at a restaurant. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about calories because, like, I'm sorry, but like, you really do need to budget your calories. Like, if you're gonna be in a caloric deficit, you have a budget. You know, it's like struggling with money. You know, like, you can only spend this much. It's like that simple. Anything over, you're accumulating interest and you're blah blah blah. And you have to use like money from other freaking like days, but not even because it's not even that's not even quite how it works. Because you can't even necessarily eat like 2,000 calories one day and then 500 the next and then 2,000 the next and then 400 the next. That's gonna be a mess too for you. But like, you get the gist in the sense of like, you have to budget calories, right? Especially when you're in a caloric deficit. In your normal day-to-day life, no, I'm not saying the average person needs to budget calories. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you're in a caloric deficit, let's just stick with that, okay? Um, and so when I saw edamame and I saw it was only 170 calories, and I know edamame is high protein, even though it was 180 calories, I think actually, something like that. So even though it's gonna be more, it's always more calories than it should be because it's just steamed. But like, I think it might have just been because it was a big portion though, because it didn't have any flavor or anything. It was just steamed with salt. I was happy with it. But anyway, I just kept eating them. I was like, nom 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 nom. It was so good. It was so good. And then my mom wanted to get a second drink, and I was like telling her, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my love language. It's like going on a date, like on a first date, and then they want to spend more time with you. It's like because my mom, I love her, but like, girl, it feels like every time we do something, she's just there for the practicality of it. Like when we go to a restaurant, we're only there to eat, which is, I guess, to some people that makes sense. To me, that's not how I am. I don't go to restaurants to eat. I don't care about the food at restaurants. Like, I used to, but now with my caloric deficit and also seeing how much I can cook, which is such a blessing. But like, still, just when you learn how unhealthy restaurants are, plus you don't know how good they are at food safety handling, because it literally is just a day by day basis. I've gone to Yard House countless times, and I had gotten food poisoning like at least once or twice from them, and then my family's gone it like once or twice or whatever. But we've gone so many times that we didn't, thank God, and we were fine. But like it's exactly my point in the sense of it just genuinely depends on the day and who's handling your food and who whatever, you know what I mean? Um, and so I just I don't go out to eat. Like I just want to get like a drink or something. I want an excuse to be in the environment and talk to you and get to know you better and laugh and make memories and stuff. I do not care about the food. Um, if it were up to me, like if the pure goal was food, I would say let's go to the grocery store because at the grocery store there's probably going to be better options, more macro friendly. Even if they're not macro friendly, more macro friendly. You know what I mean? You can even go to the frozen section. With how many calories and stuff are in restaurant food, you can buy like pizza and pizza rolls and stuff genuinely, and it's probably less calories. The Brussels sprouts at Yard House have 1,200 and I think 80, maybe 10. Still 1,200 and something calories in them. A serving of Brussels sprouts has 35 calories in it. 2 pounds of Brussels sprouts had less than 400 calories, I believe. I have to double check that. But a serving of Brussels sprouts has 35 calories. Okay? So those, they're not giving you, what even would that math be? 7, 7, 14, 21, 7, 14, I don't know. They're not giving you like 18 servings of Brussels sprouts. They're not. They are drenching it in like maple syrup and frying it in so much oil and putting bacon grease and all of this stuff in it. It's absurd. Like you could buy pizza for probably less calories than that at the grocery store. But anyway, I'm not there for food, but I guess my mom is. So whenever she was all like, "This doesn't like," she was like, "Let's get another one." I was like, "Really? With me?" I was so excited. I was like, "I love this." Um, and so we get another one, but I start feeling it, and once I start feeling it, I'm like, okay, I need to like back off of it because one thing I've learned many times over the years is two things. One, I've started to really dislike the feeling of like being like buzzed, and because I always describe getting drunk goes from sober to buzz, no, sober to tipsy to buzzed to drunk. Okay, I think is how I've always described it. And so sober is just, you know, you don't feel anything. You have like one drink, two drink, not like drinks, full drinks. I mean like a sip. Okay, fine. Let's use that an example. You have like 2 or 3 sips of a wine. Like girl, you're fine, you know. Um and then you have like of course it depends on your tolerance, but then once you hit like a little over 1 glass, you start loosening up a little bit, but you're not like dizzy, you're not like your average person isn't self-aware enough to realize that it's affecting them, but if you're conscientious enough, you know it's affecting you, right? Because you can feel subtle things like you feel just life's a little lighter, or like you're a little happier or something, you know what I mean? Or walking feels a little more fun because you're not dizzy, but like, you know, just like a little bit, but like lightheaded slightly, ever so slightly, I don't know. But anyway, that's like tipsy. Okay, when you start feeling the buzz is what I describe as tipsy. Then buzzed is like you feel good. You know that you're feeling the alcohol. At that point, you're probably 2 or 3 drinks in. You know you feel the alcohol. You're lying to people when you say you're not. Yeah. And then we have drunk. That's probably like 3 to 5 drinks or more. That's just whenever you're like doing things you wouldn't normally do. Like, it might be subtle. It might just be like hitting on women when you wouldn't normally do that. It might be being messy and slurring, or it might be starting fights or whatever it is. So that's my ranking, right? I've learned sober is my sweet spot. Sober to tipsy is my sweet spot. But once I start getting to tipsy, that spot between tipsy and buzzed, I don't want to get too buzzed. Buzzed is too far from me. I've learned recently. That is not how I used to be. I used to be in this exact house, okay, and I would be having like 3 drinks, and I'd be feeling good, and I'd be like showering like buzzed and stuff, and I'd be like, I used to get down. Yeah, I used to get down. Now I was never crazy with it. I was never like the 16 shots. God, I rebuke that, honestly. Never that insane with it, okay? But like, yeah, I definitely normalized. Like, I was thinking today, there was a time where, allegedly, hypothetically, um, the day before work, I'm gonna be pretty vague. Nothing bad happened, but the day before work, allegedly, hypothetically, potentially, I had about 4 drinks, maybe 5, out. Now, I wasn't driving or anything, don't worry, but like at a bar, which I've always just, I don't know if I've just always had a low tolerance, however you want to describe it, but I usually measure my drinks at home in like 1 ounce quantities, but typically a bar will give you more like 2 ounces worth of liquor. So that's like double what I would do about normally, right? So I had a lot, for me at least. For me. And I remember that night being like so frustrated and being so borderline, like with consciousness. I mean, like I was conscious, but like that alcohol was hitting me, right? And if I had done like a double or something, a shot, girl, I don't know. I don't want to know. Mm-mm. But I remember getting home and thinking, I am feeling it. We're going to say that. And this isn't feeling it in the sense of like normal feeling it, in the sense of like, I'll be fine in 3 to 4 hours. Like most drinking, like in 3 to 4 hours, like you'll feel basically sober and I'll be okay. It was like, girl, I have to work in less than 7 hours. And I did. And that's exactly what I mean. I worked my full shift. I did not want to, but I did. And that's exactly what I mean in the sense of I used to get down. That was like an extreme. That was like that kind of down. I've only gone down probably like 3 to 5 times in my life. But like still. Now I've just matured. I've lost a lot of weight as well. That's a huge contributing factor probably as to why I just like I have a lower tolerance at least. But I just don't like being drunk anymore. I don't like the impairment. I like being able to, like, when I'm watching a TV show, I like being able to like analyze it and pick it apart. I like being able to be in the moment. Thank God. Which honestly, I think it was genuinely just God healing me. Thank God. But like, yeah, I do not enjoy it anymore. Plus it just stresses me out because all I can think about is like, I'm just always stressing about it basically. But now I'm like super chill about all of it. I'm like between that line of tipsy and buzzed, okay, which is a super narrow. I literally average like 1 to 2 drinks now. To me, like 2 drinks now is a lot. Like that isn't that insane? 2 drinks to me is what I used to like do 4 or 5 drinks to feel. Now it just takes me like 2, and then I feel like I've done too much even at that point. And so this all goes back to in the sense of like I was like finishing up the second drink, and then I was all like, I've gotten really good at just knowing when to like just call it. because not even in a safety way, that too, like stay safe and all that stuff, but not even in a like, oh well, like blah blah blah, like ethically or blah blah blah, like I shouldn't like blah, or not like the calorie, not even in that way, just in the sense of I don't like that feeling anymore, and I would rather waste however much the rest of this drink costs than finish it and just not feel good. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, "Ooh," just let it. And it was funny because me and my mom were on the same page. Because then she was all like, this is getting hard to drink. And I was like, let's leave. Obviously, we paid. Not like that. Like, obviously, we paid. We had already paid. But I was all like, let's leave them here. Like, we both want this. I don't know if I said that, but I did want that. And I knew I wanted that. I mainly just wanted to stay and talk to her more. But I was like, girl, we can talk without continuing to drink these things that neither of us want to finish. And then she's like, yeah, but there's like $5 sitting in here. I was like, girl, first of all, it's my money because I was the one paying. So like, she doesn't have to worry about it. Not that that would really change her mind, but like still. But then I was like, second of all, then I started explaining my whole mindset of like how I felt about alcohol and all that stuff. Basically, like I'm explaining to you, except a totally different story actually. But believe it or not. And so she was like so quick to be like, okay, let's go. Like she was not fighting me on it. She was not like just one more sip. She was like, okay, then let's go. Because I don't know. I guess probably just because if I'm okay with her wasting it, and if I'm encouraging her to waste it, why not? You know what I mean? And so we have those, and then I am just thinking because we were there for hours, like a long time. Because like I said, I can just yap, and I will. We were just yapping and getting food and just having exactly my ideal time. Because that's the thing is, I like getting the food. Because that's the other confusing thing about me with restaurants. I like getting the food. I like ordering. I like trying the foods. But I'm not there for the food. I am there for whoever I'm with. Okay? And the food is purely like rent that I'm paying to be there, basically. And it's something new to try. And if I like it, I can like use it for a recipe or something. But like, you know what I mean? And so I get home late. I think I got home like 9 o'clock or something. And I'm just like, I have my long run, right? And I knew that. That's also another reason I was like not wanting to continue the drink, because just why? You know what I mean? Running while like buzzed or tipsy, even, it's just not cute. It's like, you don't want to be running while you're just like head is buzzing or something. That's just no. And so I was all like, man, I have so many reasons that I could not run today. Like so many. It's dark outside, first of all. I'm not a night runner. I think it's unnecessarily dangerous. I think it's no. I do not agree with running when it's completely dark outside. I think it's too late and you should have ran earlier. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I don't do it. So I had that reason in the sense of like my safety. That's a pretty good reason. I have the reason of like, well, I'm just like so like tired and like the drinks and like, but then I was like, maybe next time just don't have the drinks because you're going on this run. We're done with the excuses. We're done with it. We're going to run our best run that I can. And I ran a pretty good run, Loki. I ran a 9:05 pace for an hour and 13 minutes, which was a total of 8.01, maybe 8.02. Strava has it at 8.01, but we all know about Strava tax. If you don't know what Strava tax is, Strava tends to take like 0.01 seconds, distance off of your actual run, because of the way it calculates things and stuff. It like cuts off some things and stuff. But yeah. And so that's a really good one, honestly. Like I was surprised because I didn't check my watch at all. the whole run, I was like, I'm just gonna do a comfortable pace, and if that pace is too slow, fine. But at least I got the run done. I got it done, and I ran 8 miles. Exactly to say. That's exactly what I'm saying. I woke up that morning like 5:55 a.m. I went to work early so that I could make my breakfast. It was so good. It was chicken. No, it was Greek yogurt yesterday actually. Some Greek yogurt like pudding. You know, that's like a huge thing with like fitness, I guess, right now. Is you just mix like pudding mix, zero sugar pudding mix into Greek yogurt. It is really good. It's like a dessert for real. At least for me. My mom said it tasted like cream cheese. And I couldn't stop noticing it after that. But like I thought it tasted really good. It tasted like cheesecake to me. Which she later said that, so maybe she meant to say cheesecake instead of cream cheese. But I can't get over cheesecake is just cream cheese. So to be fair, but it was Greek yogurt, but also a ton of Brussels sprouts and a ton of yellow squash, and also a protein shake. Beautiful meals, by the way. And I got there. I got to work like super early, so I'd have time to prepare it and be like relaxed and ready for my shift in time and stuff. Because I don't want to be the person who's like spending like the first 15 minutes of their shift making their breakfast. Like, girl, what? That's not. I don't think that's okay. At least like that's the standard I hold myself to. I wouldn't. I would be encouraged not to do that, and so especially as somebody who's like managing other people, I shouldn't be doing it. If I saw them doing it, I would be like, let's not do that. Let's try to just come in earlier. So I came in earlier, and anyway, woke up at 5:55. Left for work about. Actually, I'm not gonna say, but left for work. Worked the entire day, and then went straight home to let my dog out, put some stuff in the fridge, let my dog back in, drive over to meet up with my mother, and then we went to a restaurant, and then we came back like literally like 9-ish. Insane. And I run for an hour and 13 minutes at night. Not that I encourage it, but that is what happened. I run 8 miles. I get home. I lift weights. Well, no, I get home, I shower, then I lift weights, which seems contradictory, but when you run, I feel like you kind of get it. I always used to see, like, in movies and stuff, like, men would go on jogs or runs or whatever, and then they'd go shower immediately, and I'd be like, why? Why are you doing that? That's so extra. It's so unnecessary. But when you start doing like serious running, you get why. Like you're always like so hot and overheated, especially not always overheated. I rebuke that. But like you can get so hot and like just I literally just I have the shower on the coldest setting, and it's just like having it like it's basically like flash cooling me off is just so convenient rather than having to like sit under a fan for an hour or something. But then I went, so I come back before my run, I shower, I go lift weights, and then I lay in bed and I watch like Netflix until like for like about an hour to 2 hours. I literally however long it took for me to fall asleep. I fall asleep, I woke up, I went to work, I came here, and now I'm recording. Like it's a really good testament in the sense of when I say that when I like say that I stay busy and my days stay packed, I mean it. Especially after this. After this, I'm supposed to make chicken in the crock pot, but my crock pot is gross. So I'd rather wash it through the washing machine first, and then whatever, dishwasher, and then scrub it myself because there's just like a streak, which is insane, by the way. Crazy work. And so I don't want to risk that being in my food or anything. That's gross. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Maybe I can just bring the ingredients to my mom and just cook it at her house and just give some of it to her. No, but my sister's sick, so I don't want to do that. Never mind. Anyway, and so I don't know what I'm gonna do. make it tomorrow, I guess, because that's the thing is I don't have a ton of time after this. I'm on quite the schedule right now, so we'll see how I'm gonna handle that. But yeah, basically life's busy, and I used to I used to hate like having nothing to do, and now I have so much to do because again, I'm dieting, like getting lean, which is way harder than losing weight, by the way. Losing weight, you just starve yourself, okay? Getting lean, because I'm like lifting while I run, and I need enough protein a day to not have my body just, because it'll just eat its own muscle, which makes sense. To be fair, if you're not using the muscle and you're not supplying your body with enough nutrients for the muscle, like obviously your body would, I mean, I'm not gonna say duh, obviously, but like it makes a lot of sense that your body would eat the muscle before it eats fat because you don't need the muscle. You know what I mean? But anyway, so it's just like I have to buy like groceries strategically and cook food and watch for sales on meats and stuff, and keep the house clean, be professional, work full time, just all of it. There's a lot going on. So lifting, running. I have a dog. I love my dog. Hi, puppy. Make sure that I'm happy with what I'm eating, because if I'm just eating chicken and rice every day, which I don't even eat rice. Sorry. Hot take. I'm a runner. I'm a distance runner at that. And I don't like carbs. I think this is like the hottest take. I'm on an aggressive cut while doing distance running, and I think that carbs are a waste. Rice, don't eat it. Bread, don't eat it. Anything that's just like a pure carb. Potatoes, don't eat it. Sweet potatoes, don't eat it. I don't care what the fitness community says about it. During an aggressive cut, you have to be so strategic about what you're eating, in order to both hit your protein and also lose a lot, like be at like a steep caloric deficit at the same time, but also have it be sustainable, because you can't just starve yourself, because you're gonna lose muscle. Horrible things can happen. You could get injured because you're not fueling yourself properly. And I know the runners, like I know there's people watching this being like, yeah, you need to fuel yourself properly, so like you need to eat carbs. I saw one person saying you need to eat as many carbs, more carbs than you have protein a day. I was like, girl, that's not physically possible on a cut, okay? You are speaking a generic blanket statement over a lot of people. That's just not true. I disagree. Now, I will agree carbs are important to running. I cannot get through my long runs without carbs. You hit a wall and it doesn't take long. At least for me, it doesn't take long. And maybe that's just because I'm not front loading like carbs like a lot of distance runners do. But like for me, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'll like hit the wall, I guess is what it's called, where it's like you just like you run out of fuel. You're just like done at that point. If you don't refuel yourself, then good luck. Like genuinely, it's like how could I describe this? It's like trying to keep up with a car going 40 miles an hour. Like it's the same thing. Your pace is the car going 40 miles an hour. You're not going to be able to run because your body is just out of its emergency supply or whatever. And so after like 20 to 30 minutes for me is when that happens. So I have like electrolyte powder that has carbs. It's like Gatorade powder. Works wonders. But like no, I'm sorry. I'm not eating an entire thing of rice before my run, or a banana. A banana is 120 calories for like that. For a little fruit that's like that. Like that's like the biggest like pre-run fuel. No, thank you. My entire freaking like 16 ounces of, more like 17 ounces, but still, of my carb fluid, whatever that gets me through the runs, it's 80 calories. And it both hydrates me and lasts me through the entire run, rather than just like a cute little. But like, I'm not saying carbs are evil. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for my specific dietary situation, I cannot be messy. I cannot be eating rice cakes and rice and sweet potatoes and bananas, because every calorie needs to be going towards protein, genuinely. Like, otherwise, I'm either going to not be in a caloric deficit or I'm not going to hit my protein. So it's such a balance, and just dealing with all that, it's super busy, but it's something I'm really grateful for and I've really enjoyed lately, honestly. Um, but let me know what y'all think of that, because I know that there's some people watching this right now being like fuming at the concept of me being like, I'm a distance runner, but I don't believe in carb loading. I think if you can carb load, there's nothing wrong with it. But with my current goals, it is so niche and specific that, like, I want to run and I want to distance run. I'm training for a half marathon. I have ran 11 miles, has been my longest run so far, without carb loading, without gels. Now, I fully acknowledge, my understanding is you can run a half marathon without like fueling. I don't know about a full marathon. Okay, I don't know. We'll see about that one day. But like, I don't know about fueling, physical food, whatever with that. But girl, I was 2 miles off. Now, was it hard? Yeah. Running 11 miles straight was hard. I did it in about an hour and 30 minutes, maybe an hour and 37 minutes, I want to say, is when I ran that 11 mile. It was hard. It was really hard at the end. It was really hard in general. After about mile 6, the runs just get intense. But like, anyway, let me know what y'all think, I guess. But we're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna go to this movie because I'm probably gonna go on a recovery run first, though, because I want to just get it over with, because I want to go see that movie, eat my popcorn, and then just sleep. You know what I mean? But it's also so hot outside right now. It's like 104 degrees or something. I don't know. I don't actually know the exact weather. I just know it's regularly around this time, between 1 to 200. So, but it's a short run. It's only 24 minutes, so I could power through it. I probably will. But anyway, thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. I love you all so much. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know your hot takes. Let me know what you want to hear more about. Share with a friend if you think they'd like it. Thank you all so much for listening and supporting this podcast. It means so much to me. I would love to do this full time one day. Next week, I might have a lot to say about the Spiderman movie, or maybe I'll have a lot to say about something else. I don't know. I'll keep y'all updated. But thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. I love you all so much. Bye, guys. I love you. Say it back.